Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today, we're taking a look at two versions of Evil-Lyn. We've got the Super7 Evil-Lyn based on the Filmation show, and we've got the Masters of the Universe Origins Evil-Lyn, which is based on her vintage action figure. Super7 card art, Origins by Mattel art, Super7 cross-sell, Origins cross-sell. I've got them both out of the package, and you can see everything they come with. We're going to start with the Super7 Filmation Evil-Lyn, and then we'll finish off with Origins. So the Super7 Evil-Lyn is definitely based on the Filmation show, but she's also inspired by that vintage action figure in some aspects. She's definitely got the more human flesh tone of the Filmation series. She's got that bigger crown and a more simplified outfit. But we do see things from the vintage line, like the shape of this hand for her sort of pose that she's pre-built into, and the fact that she has spring action battle attack there. That's also a very vintage nod. I think she looks great. I think this figure looks really, really good. She comes with a whole bunch of accessories, really, which is nice. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about articulation. She's got a joint at the head that spins. She has joints at her shoulders that can move all the way around. She has that articulation point at the waist, but it springs back automatically. She has hip joints that can move out to the side and twist around. And that's really about it. She's pretty limited on articulation. She's very much like a vintage action figure. She does come with this black cape. Here on SEO Toy Review, we have a very positive affinity towards clothy capes. And this has the little plastic clip in it, much like the Kenner Superpowers figures, which have some of the best clothy capes in the industry. Evil-Lyn comes with 3 accessories. 2 of them are wands. One is inspired by the Filmation show. The other one is more inspired by her vintage accessory. She looks great with either one. Her final accessory is a episode-specific accessory. It's this piece of crystal. There is no handle sculpted into it or no way to plug it onto her. I love this accessory, but in many ways, because she can't hold it, I kind of wish they would have just done an energy effect to go around her hand. Partly because that's the way she appears on this pack-in art card. This is in the back of the package. It looks like a mini comic when you keep them mint on card, but when you open them up, you realize it's just a little cardboard thing here that has some information from Toy to Toon. It shows the original figure. It shows the Evil-Lyn animation model in those colors, and then the Evil-Lyn in the actual colors that they did use. On to the Origins Evil-Lyn, which is definitely inspired by that vintage action figure in colors and the level of detail. But where she differs from the vintage one really here is the amount of articulation. So she's got a head joint that can move forward and backwards and side to side. She's got shoulder joints that move out to the side and all the way around. She's got hinges that swivel at the elbows. She's got wrists that can swivel and hinge. She's got a rotation point at the waist. This is not spring back oriented. She has hips that can move out to the side, forward and backward. She's got knee joints that can also swivel and bend. She's got a boot cut articulation, and she's got ankle articulation that moves forward, backward, side to side. So a really nicely articulated figure. My only real complaint with this is I don't like the knees on the female figures. I mentioned that with Tila, but what are you going to do? It's really hard to hide articulation points when a character doesn't have any, real clothing in that area. You can't hide articulation points in the fabric, and it just looks a little funny the way it sticks out there. But she's really great looking, so much more detailed and evil looking than the vintage figure release. For accessories, she has her vintage staff, and that's really about it. She does come with a pack-in copy of Beast Barrage. This was a mini comic for the first wave, so we've seen this quite a few times. The last feature built into this figure is that she does have swappable parts, so you can remove some of her joints to switch things around. You can swap her head and her boots with Tila and things like that. I feel like this gimmick works better for the guys because there's a bigger pool of parts to swap around. But, that's where we're at with this line, and that's kind of the gimmick that's built into them. Now's the tough part. Which one do I like more? I've got a couple different ways of looking at this. If I was looking at it as a toy to play with from a kid perspective, I think I'm going to go with the Origins. I really like the added articulation. If I'm going from a display, purely collector standpoint, I think I'm going with Super 7. I love the Filmation look. I love the cape. I just think she looks really clean that way. So, Super 7 wins on the fact that she's got extra accessories and just sort of a look aesthetic I like a little bit more for an action figure. But Mattel wins on actually giving you a comic book and a well-articulated action figure. It's a battle for the ages to be the best Evil-Lyn. If the Origins line lasts long enough, I would not be shocked if we see all these figures released with Filmation colors and some of them with more Filmation-inspired heads. But I think they're going to sell us all the vintage figure style ones first. Kind of like what happened with Motu Classics. In the comments down below, let me know which version of Evil-Lyn is your favorite. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.